So it's a bleak morning in Joburg, as we learned this morning that 64 people have died in a building fire that broke out in the early hours of Thursday morning. Developments keep coming through. The story keeps changing. The death toll went from 10 o'clock in the early hours to now 64. And we are told that it is likely to rise as firefighters continue with the search and recovery operations. So we do know that 43 people have been injured, and that among the dead is a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old baby.
As you say, the death toll, it's been rising hour by hour as we've been reporting this story. What do we know about this building? It sounds like people were living in it.
So numerous reports are coming out about the building. Firefighters have confirmed that it is an abandoned building or a hijacked building. Those are quite popular in the central business district. So we're still trying to ascertain, because the spokesperson mentioned that it was also an informal settlement. So it looks like within the abandoned building, people had sort of set up partitions and demarcations, So they're still trying to ascertain that, but we do know for sure that it is an abandoned building or one that has been hijacked.
We're just looking at some live pictures now from the scene. We can see smoke coming out of some windows there as it looks like firefighters are continuing to work on containing and making sure that blaze is under control. It sounds like there are this sort of hijacked building, abandoned building, there are many of them in Johannesburg. This is not a unique kind of building.
Yes. So as I mentioned, there are quite a number of them, throughout the CBD. A few months ago, an MMC, one of the members of the mayoral committee did a tour around the city visiting these kind of buildings, to try and tackle the issue. So the site of this building, it's not uncommon, and fires breaking out at these kind of buildings are not uncommon in Johannesburg.
And do we know anything at all about what caused this fire? I imagine an investigation still in its early stages, but do we know anything?
So at this point, the cause has not been established, but some of the possibilities have been that it was an illegal connection. So because buildings such as this one are normally abandoned or hijacked, people use illegal means to connect, to the electricity grid. Another possibility is that people had heating devices on. So they either had a fire on to keep warm, and then when the fire broke out, obviously that heating device, things got out of control. Because one of the things we were told is that at the time the fire broke out, there was no electricity. So it seems likely that someone had a fire going to keep warm, and that then got out of control.
Do you know anything about the efforts to evacuate this building? Because I think I read one report that there were sheets coming out of windows that looked like they might have been used to help people evacuate.
So evacuation has been happening since the early hours of the morning. We do know at this point that they have stopped with evacuation, and the spokesperson actually said that the chances of anyone coming out of the building alive are slim. So they have prepared the families. At this stage, the fire has been put out. They're just busy with damping down operations. As you mentioned earlier on, smoke is still coming out, but at this point, it's the search and recovery that's happening. So any bodies that are coming out now will be of those who have unfortunately died.